What is going on, everyone? My name is Drew Spencer with the React and Attack Football Podcast, where we try and go over NFL content from all 32 teams every single day. And boy, oh boy, there's always something going on in the NFL world. And if you like what you hear, make sure to like and subscribe. And let's go. Thursday night football with the Washington Commanders headed into Lambeau. Man, with Green Bay with a 3.5 point spread advantage here, and man, I want to dive into this game and preview it here because I think there's some fun, interesting matchups. And the first team I want to talk about is Green Bay, um, coming off a very decisive win against the Detroit Lions in their debut, where everything went according to plan for them. Uh, they got to see, you know, their offense look at a great level. Their offensive line kept Jordan Love afloat. Jordan Love was precise and efficient with the football. And then on the defensive side, the D line getting to it. Micah Parsons getting a sack. All the things you want to see if you're a Green Bay Packers fan and moving forward. And I want to circle back on that with Jordan Love. Um, if you look at his overall statistics, they're not going to blow you away. But if you delve more into it, he was distributing the ball so well. I think everyone that plays receiver or tight end uh, got a target. It seemed like, or a reception. He was doing such a good job, and that was kind of the biggest question mark, kind of about this offense. I mean, so many younger receivers, you know, guys that have proven themselves more, but still need to see. I think Jaden Reed is awesome, but Dontavian Wicks, one of those guys, but he had a nice catch today. Obviously, they drafted Matthew Golden the first round. He had a catch. Didn't see too much today, but obviously they're working him into the system. Uh, Going about that, but just it was so impressive to see Jordan Love just like, okay, like it doesn't matter what receiver you're giving me, like I'm gonna give them a chance, an opportunity. I'm looking their way. I'm gonna complete that, and it does help when the offensive line was just doing so well against this Lions defensive front. It almost seemed like they were unfazed. Jordan seemed like he had a good amount of time in the pocket. Stepped up when he needed to, and delivered. Another big, and then moving on to the defensive side of the football, where I think it's more a little bit more intriguing. The player I'm going to call out first though is Edrin Cooper. Dude was flying around, man. I know tackles because he had 12 tackles. I understand that's not like some massive stat because yeah, you have to do your job. You should be getting tackles, but that doesn't indicate where he was in coverage and everything. I still felt though that Adrian Cooper did a nice game though overall. I felt like he was flying around with a purpose. I felt like other years it was kind of the opposite. So it's nice to kind of see him just maybe even take another step forward, which is nice. And then circling down to the defensive line, um, man, oh man, they have so much firepower on this that I I'm not sure if Micah was on a snap count or if he was just brought in on pass rushing downs. I don't know the full statistics of this, um, but it didn't seem to really matter because they were still getting so much pressure in regardless. And when you have such a stable roster of these guys, uh, not just Micah, but Rashawn Gary, and Lucas Van Ness, where you can kind of depend on these guys in base, but it's like, okay, now we have Micah Parsons ready to pin his ears back and get it. And don't sleep on these other guys, though, right? Like, um, I think it's this team, especially with what it showed. Uh, I know it's week one, but unreal. But um, it it's going to be interesting moving forward because, and um, the coming back from the Packers D line, like how is this Commanders offensive line going to stand up? Um, I Laramie Tunsil and this offensive line did pretty well against a hyped up. Giants defensive line that I thought was going to be amazing and incredible. But again, it's week one. These teams weren't really going. Um, but I think this defensive line is a different animal because meanwhile, Giants defensive line was more it's more about like projection. I really think this Green Bay Packers defensive pass rush knows exactly what it wants to do. And how is this Commanders offensive line going to be able to come in and stop this onslaught? And yes, Laramie Tunsil's such a massive addition, but it it almost seemed overall that Jaden Daniels and this offense was still cooking, but it took some time. Now, Jaden Daniels, nothing wrong with him. He was rolling around, navigating play, throwing the ball away if he needed to, tucking and running when he needed to. He no sophomore slump or regression on his part. And it took towards the end of the game for the Commanders to really get the offense going. And then once someone like Debo Samuel, once he kind of got more involved in touching the ball a little bit more, start getting things going a little bit, right? Um, so, but on the flip side, for the Commanders, I worry about this defense um, moving forward, especially against this Packers team. That I think this Packers offensive line is just good and solid all around. Well, I love guys like Deron Payne, um, but they're relying on a lot of veterans. And yes, Javon Kinlaw, former 49er, he actually had a pretty nice game against the Giants, graded out pretty well. But really, you're kind of expecting Frankie Louvu to continue that hybrid front, that role of pass rushing from the inside, from the out exterior roles, or just dropping back into coverage, being an exotic kind of blitzer linebacker. Um, he did that a lot, at a very high level last year. Can he do it again? And I think they're really just that's really what the Commanders are truly lacking. I think is just a true elite number one edge. They have a lot of guys that I think can definitely kill you from the interior. And I'm not saying that they don't have someone that can set the edge or anything, but these guys are just, you're kind of expecting a little bit more, and putting a lot of weight on someone like Frankie Louvu in that front. But uh, I'm so excited to see this game, man. I think this game is going to be awesome. Again, the Packers are 3.5 point favorites, and I kind of have it exactly at that, man. I have them winning 24-20 Commanders. I know, not very cliche. I just think that the Commanders they're so good, but I think this Packers team knows what it's trying to do, what it wants to build for this season, and is not afraid to deploy um, just havoc uh, as much as front as possible against this Commanders offensive line. And where I feel like they have the problem. I think Jaden Daniels is going to have a nice game. I think um, hopefully more targets to Terry McLaurin. Um, yeah, I'm excited, man. Uh, let's see how it goes.